Welcome back to Space Repo, your portal to the cosmos. Today, we're tackling a question that sends a shiver down the spine of astronomers and space enthusiasts alike. What if the asteroid Apophis, the so-called god of chaos, were to hit Earth? On Friday, April 13, 2029, the asteroid 99942 Apophis will make a truly historic flyby. This 370-meter wide mountain of rock will pass within 31,000 kilometers of our planet's surface, closer than some of our own satellites. For perspective, the moon is nearly 400,000 kilometers away. Apophis will be so close that you'll be able to see it with the naked eye from parts of Europe, Africa, and Asia, a silent, star-like point of light gliding across the night sky. Scientists are certain it will miss us in 2029. But what if they were wrong? What if some unforeseen gravitational nudge, a keyhole passage, altered its path just enough to set it on a collision course with our home? Let's simulate that terrifying, hypothetical scenario. Imagine the news breaking just hours before impact. Panic would be instantaneous and global. There would be no time for elaborate evacuation plans, no Hollywood-style mission to deflect it. We would simply have to brace for the inevitable. Let's say Apophis is headed for a deep ocean impact in the middle of the Pacific, the most likely scenario given that over 70% of Earth's surface is water. As it screams through our atmosphere, the friction would turn it into a colossal fireball, brighter than 1,000 suns, visible from thousands of kilometers away. The impact itself would be cataclysmic. The asteroid would strike the ocean with an energy equivalent to over 75,000 Hiroshima bombs detonating at once. A blinding flash of light would vaporize trillions of tons of seawater in an instant. The initial shockwave would travel through the water and the Earth's crust at supersonic speeds. It would feel like a planet-wide earthquake, registering on every seismograph on the globe and triggering sympathetic earthquakes along vulnerable fault lines. But the real horror begins with the water. The impact would carve out a transient crater in the ocean several kilometers wide, displacing a colossal volume of water. This water would then collapse back on itself, creating the most terrifying phenomenon imaginable, a mega tsunami. This wouldn't be a single wave, but a series of them, radiating outwards from the impact site. The initial waves in the deep ocean could be hundreds of meters high, traveling at the speed of a jetliner. As these monstrous waves approach coastlines, their speed would decrease, but their height would skyrocket. Entire coastal cities, from Tokyo to Los Angeles, Sydney to Lima, would be in the crosshairs. Imagine a wall of water, not 10 or 20 meters high, but well over 100 meters, surging inland. It would obliterate everything in its path, scouring the land clean for dozens of kilometers from the shore. Skyscrapers would be toppled like children's toys. Bridges would be twisted into unrecognizable pretzels of steel. Millions of people living in coastal regions would have minutes, at best, to flee to higher ground. The sheer force of the water would not just destroy, but also carry immense amounts of debris inland, creating a toxic, churning slurry. The devastation would be absolute, redrawing coastlines and rendering vast, heavily populated areas completely uninhabitable. But the effects of the impact wouldn't stop at the water's edge. The immense energy released would vaporize not only seawater but also a significant chunk of the ocean floor, blasting it high into the atmosphere. This plume of superheated water vapor, pulverized rock, and sea salt would be ejected into the stratosphere. It would act like a massive atmospheric blanket, spreading around the globe on high-altitude winds. This is where the second phase of the catastrophe begins, the impact winter. The fine dust and aerosols in the stratosphere would block a significant portion of incoming sunlight. The effect would be a sudden and dramatic global cooling. Temperatures around the world would plummet. The sky would take on a perpetual, gloomy twilight hue, even at midday. This rapid climate shift would be devastating for agriculture. With reduced sunlight and falling temperatures, crops would fail on a global scale. The world's breadbaskets would turn into barren, frozen fields. Widespread famine would be inevitable. The intricate global supply chains we rely on for food would have already been shattered by the tsunamis and earthquakes. Surviving populations would face a desperate struggle for dwindling resources. Ecosystems would collapse. Photosynthesis would slow dramatically, affecting plant life on land and phytoplankton in the oceans, the very foundation of most marine food webs. The world would enter a long, dark, and cold period of ecological crisis. Rainfall patterns would be severely disrupted. The atmospheric dust would lead to acidic rain, further damaging crops and contaminating fresh water supplies. The world would become a colder, darker, and more toxic place. So, how would humanity survive? The immediate aftermath would be a fight for basic necessities: clean water, uncontaminated food, and shelter from the cold. Governments and infrastructure in many parts of the world would have ceased to exist. Communities would have to become self-reliant, relying on local knowledge and stored resources. Inland, subterranean shelters, and locations in high-altitude regions would become the safest places to be. Ingenuity would be key. Survivors would need to master hydroponics, geothermal energy, and other methods to grow food without sunlight and stay warm. It would be a great filter for our species, a test of our resilience and cooperation. The world as we knew it would be gone, replaced by a fractured, struggling collection of survivor enclaves. The impact winter could last for years, or even a decade, before the dust finally settles from the atmosphere and the sun's warmth returns. Rebuilding would be the work of generations. Humanity would undoubtedly endure, as we have through past ice ages and catastrophes. But our civilization would be set back centuries, if not millennia. The scars on the planet, and on our collective memory, would last forever. Thankfully, this is just a simulation. Astronomers at NASA and other space agencies are tracking Apophis and thousands of other near-Earth objects with incredible precision. They are confident in their calculations that Apophis will be a spectacular, but harmless, celestial visitor in 2029. Events like this serve as a powerful reminder of our place in the cosmos. We live in a dynamic, sometimes violent solar system, and understanding these threats is the first step in ensuring the long-term survival of our species. If you found this journey into a hypothetical disaster as fascinating as we did, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Space Repo community. We explore the wonders and dangers of our universe every week. Thank you for watching.